Hi guys, so I really wanted to do an overview of the trailer and just like my thoughts and reflections on it, because I've seen a lot of theory videos and stuff, and while I agree with some of the theories, I noticed that some of my own thoughts were kind of like not in other videos and stuff. Like, people really haven't brought up some points that I thought of, so I kind of just wanted to like share them on here before like the episode comes out. And I've never done this kind of format of a video before, so please work with me here because this is new for me too. Alright, so first we have Amity's puppet hand, assuming it's Amity's, we don't know for sure, but we'll get back to that afterwards. That goes into a topic that I want to talk about. Then there's the Belos loose heart thing, so I get that that's the Titan's heart probably, and that it's like, where do you think magic comes from the heart? That probably has something to do with it. But Luce is sitting in the Emperor's outfit on the throne, so it probably has something to do with her nightmare that we're going to talk about later. Also, I just want to point out that the whole, where do you think magic comes from the heart? You need to choose yourself, the spirits have to stick together. All three of those lines are from other episodes earlier in season 1. So nobody really brought that up either. So I mean, everyone got that, spirits have to stick together. But the other two Ida lines are also from season 1. Yeah. So then we have King waking up from his nightmare, which I'll also get to later. Also, just be aware that there are some scenes in the trailer that I am skipping over because they've just been talked about so much. Like, for example, the scene with King and Ida, like, everyone's talked about the eyeballs on the ground, and it's either Belos, like, exploding or him possessing the Titan, so there's no need to, like, go over that, even though I just did. But there might be a couple of little scenes, like Luce holding up the picture, or Luce walking through the Emperor's castle, that just don't, like, I'm sure they have some significance, but they've all been talked about as much as they can already, and I just want to talk about specific things. Alright, anyway, moving on. Okay, then we have Luce's hand reaching out into a portal. So this can mean multiple things, because it could mean a portal back home, it could be part of an illusion, or it could most likely have something to do with whatever she saw in the in-between. Some people think it's a Titan, we don't know for sure, but it could have something to do with that. And the next thing is interesting, and I wanted to talk about it because it's puppet Lilith, and everybody keeps saying, oh, Lilith got turned into a puppet again, and just leaves it at that, which I guess makes sense, but at the same time it doesn't. And here's why I think this isn't the case. For one thing, as far as the collector knows, Ida has as much significance as Lilith, and why would they let Ida play his game and not Lilith? Why wouldn't she turn her? Why would the collector turn Lilith into a puppet and not Ida? For another thing, Lilith got puppetified literally at the beginning of the previous episode, and then got unpuppetified off screen, so it wouldn't make sense for her to then get puppetified again. That just doesn't make sense. So I think more likely this is something to do with King's nightmare, because the collector knows that King doesn't like seeing Lilith as a puppet as shown in the previous one. So if this is the case, and it goes along with King's nightmare, it would also explain why she has strings on her arms and none of the other puppets have this. But it's just like my theory, so I just wanted to bring that up because not many people have really talked about that. Then it's just Luce in the Belos outfit. Everybody has sort of just come to the conclusion that she's in her worst nightmare, probably trapped in the bubbles we see later on. But I just wanted to talk about the petrified people, because everyone keeps saying Principal Bump and how he was a puppet, now he's stone. I don't think this is real. I think them petrified people are just part of Luce's nightmare. So I just wanted to clarify that. Then we have Rain Belos holding up the star, and I just wanted to point out that the star is the same color and shape as the one the collector flies on the previous one, so it could have something to do with them traveling, like to go somewhere, probably the throne room. And then the next scene of Rain suffocated by like Belos's goop and stuff, that's gotta have some sort of significance. But I also want to point out that Rain is no longer a puppet, and their instruments are on the floor, so there's probably some sort of fight, and they're trying to whistle as Belos is attacking them, so yeah, that's interesting. Then the next stuff is going to be kind of all scrambled up into what I can remember from the trailer, as I'm literally going back and forth to the trailer as I'm making this audio to make sure I'm not missing any important scenes. So the next scene is Luce, King, and Ida all waking up, where it says watching and dreaming, and I'm pretty sure this all has to do with them waking up in their worst nightmares. Also, the audio's in the background. You have to wake up, how you turn on the light. They could all be related, or Disney has done this where they show 3 entirely different clips and put them together and make you think one thing and something entirely different. So while we've all jumped to the conclusion and agree on the conclusion that they're all trapped in the worst nightmares because it makes the most sense, you have to wake up could be Willow preferring to somebody else like Hunter or something that's like knocked unconscious. Like, we don't know that for sure that it has to do with Luce, but it could be. And turn on the light doesn't necessarily mean the light glyph itself. It doesn't mean the light glyph is the key. It could just mean referring to Luce and just like encouragement in that moment. So anyway, and also I'm not against any other theories, I'm just bringing up mine because these are the ones I haven't really seen talked about a lot, so I just wanted to put those out there in case anybody else had the same ideas. Then we see one of the most confusing scenes of Amity, Hunter, Willow, and Gus all being pulled up by puppet strings, but they're not puppets and they appear to be in Luce's nightmare. This is a very, this is probably the most confusing scene to me, and I think I figured it out, so I'll come back to that later. Then the next thing I think is worth mentioning is that Ida's flying out of the conformatorium, so I think that might have something to do with the worst nightmare, and also when she wakes up it looks like she's like behind bars, so it could have something to do with her feeling trapped. It might giving me like knock knocking on whose door vibes, where it might be like a owl beast related thing, but I don't think so because she's in her harpy form, so I don't know. Also, I forgot to bring this up, but when King wakes up earlier in the trailer and looks scared, it seems like he's in the room from Titan Trapper Island that has all the dead Titan skulls, so that's gonna be something, you know. That's probably very traumatizing for him, and he's like, oh gosh, she's been through enough. Then we see the Hextide gang rushing towards something, which everybody has jumped to the conclusion again that it's Luce, which I am going to touch on later. Just wait one second. We have the scene of King and Ida in like beast form, and their eyes are glowing, and people have pointed out that there are tears in their eyes, so everybody said like, oh, something happened to Luce and they both powered up. Here's the thing, why would the Owl Beast curse have a similar power to a Titan? That doesn't make sense to me. So I think maybe it's another part of Luce's dream, or it might be Monster King and Ida chasing her. And as far as them crying, it might also have to do with like her guilt and whatever, and they could be like crying, like upset, like, why did you do this to us, Luce? If you didn't come, like the curse wouldn't exist, and blah blah blah, you know, like that kind of thing, where it's just making her feel upset and they're not actually sad and it's just an illusion. So yeah, and then the last thing I want to talk about is the Hextide gang and where they're going to be in all this, because they're the most like confusing thing in this whole trailer. So the last image we see is them holding glyphs and fighting glyphs, and that makes the whole picture clear, at least to me. So this is my theory, and it could be completely wrong, just hear me out. Okay, so the collector is going to make Amity, Hunter, Willow, and Gus all play a game, but they can't use magic in the game and they're using glyphs. Or this could be something completely unrelated later on, or maybe Belos possesses the Titan, which like affects their bile sacs or something, and then they can't use magic, so they use glyphs. But assuming the glyphs are part of the collector's game, just go with this. Anyway, eventually, regardless of the glyphs or not, they all lose the game and get turned into puppets. Now, when they're puppets, they're in a sleeping like state and they're all connected in like this other world. So this can go one of two ways, which explains their outfits, the outfit change, and this picture. So the best lead we have here is Gus's outfit, because it's specifically Grom and it's from a specific episode. And I don't know if you guys remember, but for Grom, Gus felt very important and respected, and like people cared about him. So it could be that they're all trapped in something similar to in the second episode when the wizard was puppeting everybody and sprayed Luce with like the mist, and they were all like, stay with us, Luce, like, and then like in the real world, like the puppets were just like closing in on her to like attack her, and maybe like, I mean, we don't know what they were gonna do, maybe they turn her into a puppet, we don't know. So I think it might be something similar to that. And if that's the case, then sheesh, because that means that all of them might be trapped in like a fantasy like version of what they want their lives to be, which if that's for Hunter, oh my gosh, I could see like a version of him with Flapjack, and then like to break out he has to accept that it's not real and Flapjack's dead, and like that would be so sad to see. But yeah, that's the best lead I have. Also, there's a giant Flapjack in the background of this shot that's cracked, so that's not really looking good for Hunter. It looks more like a prison related to him. So he's still gonna have some trauma in this episode, which I mean, part of me wants to like explore that more, but the other part of me is like, he's had enough, give him a break. The other completely random lead I have on this is that Gus's glam outfit could just be something like fancy he wears, and it could go the entirely opposite direction, and they could also kind of be trapped in their nightmares, where maybe everyone's expecting Gus to be something he's not, to be more formal and proper than he actually is, and he feels pressured, and that can contribute. In which case, either way, Hunter's nightmare has something to do with Flapjack, so I feel very badly for him. No matter which direction the episode goes, he's gonna be dealing with some things. And this would also explain the glyph in the beginning, because if Amity's having some dream or nightmare or something with Luce, it would like motivate maybe subconsciously her real self to break out of it, and she would subconsciously draw the light glyph as her way of breaking out of the trance. And then she might still be a puppet but regain consciousness and be able to like stop them. The scene of all them rushing towards something, I believe that eventually they'll all break out of whatever challenge, whether it's a dream or a nightmare, and all meet up in the same weird realm, which is also connected to Luce's dream. And they'll all break in for a second they're not supposed to be able to encourage her, which is when Amity will give her the light clip. And then the collector will realize they're in there not supposed to, and that's when he'll pull them out. So yeah, that's my theory. Please let me know what you think, because some of these I like completely came up with like randomly, and other ones I spent like hours thinking of. So please let me know what you think of these and share this with someone that you think would like it if you want to. Alright, have a nice day guys, and I'll see you when Watching and Dreaming comes out, because we're all very excited for that. So I don't really have time to make fan art and stuff because I have a lot of work to do right now, but this was my way of like contributing to the fandom and like hyping up the episode. So I hope you like this, and yeah. Alright, have a nice day guys. Bye.